All right, I'll just try these levels, Scotty. We'll get going. Testing 1, 2, 1, 2. I record. Testing 1, 2, 1, 2. Oh, we are live. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Every Point's a Winner podcast. Week number 2. We're halfway through round 1. Scotty, what did you think of Vegas?
Well, before I get to Vegas, mate, I listened to the theme music that you've put on for the podcast. Sounds very daunting. I think it's an ode to all those that lost cash on my tips last week. So
your tips were pretty good, let me tell you. You got Jesse Raymond?
Yeah, I did, but I was shattered head to head. Warriors. It's unfortunate, but this is the death knell of the NRL pressure.
Okay.
The coach of the Warriors, they're already talking about his credibility after round. Already. With his personnel, what roster they had, I was blown away by how lackluster they were in the first round. So Ricky had those buffoons that misbehave over in Vegas switched on, as they are, footy heads, get the job done, and they were extremely impressive, the Raiders.
Yeah, I tell you what, my father, talking about your tips, my father taught me one thing with racehorses. He was a man. He used to love the horses. And he said, always forgive a really good horse one run, like a Superimpose or a Kingston Town, okay? So with Savage, I had him in the trials. He did nothing, right? What did he do? He just destroyed them.
Had a blinder.
And 2 tries.
Yeah, had a blinder.
My old man just daunted me on the weekend. Now, my other mistake, I had Fanua Blake into Liam Martin. Now, Liam Martin nearly broke clear at the end there.
Yeah, he did, but his kick chases were a very important factor in the game. I thought the pressure that was placed on Kennedy, the fullback for the Sharks, was extraordinary.
Right.
He had a great game. I thought he was close to the best player on the park, Kennedy, for the Sharks. Again,
solid game.
Again,
what about they missed something over the. He was out when he knocked the ball back in.
Oh, look,
what happens, doesn't it?
Why do we have touch judges?
Yeah, I know.
Got all the TV screens in the world. I reckon we could save on the income of touch judges. They're useless.
Well, what about Cronulla? You obviously tipped them to win. You and Peter, and they were close, very close. At one stage, they really looked like they were going to do it, but that Penrith X factor, it's still there, isn't it? Despite the players they've lost, including Luai, that X factor is still there. They shut you down, they strangle you, and they keep you in your own quarter.
Look, they know how to close a game down. I did tip more than 40 points in the game. Right. I thought it would be a high-scoring game, tit for tat. In the end, it was like that.
Yeah.
I just think Cronulla went away from what was working for them. I mean, you saw how easy it was when Nico Hines was hitting at the line, popping off the shoulder for that first try for the Sharks, and they just—
It was a nice double pump, wasn't it?
Yeah, it just went away from the edges that they were, making some impact, and I don't know, they just seem to be a bit lost at times, the Sharks,
Congratulations on Raymond. Had we remember I mentioned it was $21 first try scorer?
Yeah.
That's great odds.
And Capewell was another one that I pulled out.
Well, we both got on Capewell. He's one of my favourites.
What was he paying for first try scorer?
I knew it was 9-2. So had we had what we had was Tuivasa Sheck into Capewell, and I let us down because I had the line at too high. But lemon of the week. Why the hell did they go for the 2 points when they were that far in front? It cost me the line and now $66 for 6.
Well, I bet responsible. I didn't spend a cent.
Well, I put $6 for us.
Apologies for those.
I was going to split it.
Apologies for those that lost the cash, but
no. But if they stuck with your Ramian at first try scorer, you didn't say first, but I just entertained it. but it's still 9-2, mate. It was 9-2.
And it's pretty good odds. Pretty good
For $10, there's your $50.
A bit of a dabble worth.
Better than the pokies.
Yeah.
You say, mate. And the thing is, with the pokies, it can go, your $30 can go in less than half an hour. Footy, your adrenaline's pumping for the 80 minutes like the football players. But congratulations on your tips. I thought they were very good. Okay, you got 0 from 2. Now, I must admit, I switched my tip to the Penrith over the weekend because I thought, mate, I don't want 0 from 2 in case Warriors chuck in a bad one. And they did. And I was lucky to get the 1. Peter also missed out on Penrith. Do you think it's crucial? It's like betting against Melbourne in the first round?
Yeah, I wouldn't be betting against Melbourne in the first round.
When was the last time they lost in the first round?
I think it's 22 seasons or something. Like it's outrageous.
So don't do it again this weekend, correct?
There's people out there still betting against Melbourne saying it'll come.
Right.
It'll come.
Yeah.
It'll come.
Yeah.
It'll come.
22 times it'll come.
So look, none from 2, but let's get on to this week's rounds. And
let's get on to this week's rounds.
Barring my Broncos tonight, I just want to. There's some really important news. Obviously, I heard this morning in regards to the Friday match at 8:00. That's the Rabbitohs and the Dolphins. The location's been relocated. God bless all those people.
Are you kidding?
Yeah, God bless all those people that are up in Queensland with the cyclone. The Dolphins, they've swapped the rounds, so I think the Dolphins' home game has been swapped against the Rabbitohs for the second half of the season. Will go up there.
Okay.
The Dolphins have flown down. They're playing at CommBank Stadium this week. And
where's that again, Scotty?
Down at Parramatta there.
Oh, the Parramatta the new Parramatta Stadium.
Yeah, and there are 5 Dolphins players that have were picked in that starting side that have pulled out.
5?
5. They've stayed home to look after their family, and rightfully so. But
so there's been flights, has there?
Well, it hasn't hit yet, but
okay. They're expecting
sandbagging and don't want to care for their families.
Fair enough, mate. Hey, what's more important in your life or NRL?
100%. I guess the Rabbitohs are Rabbitohs are saying, well, that's good for us. I believe there's no Cody Nikorima, there's no Mark Nichols, there's no Twitch. There's 3 of the 5 that definitely won't be there. So
that's massive news.
I was home ground advantage, and with those 5 players in, I'm picking the Dolphins against the busted Rabbitohs in round 1. But now
I also have news.
I'm tipping Rabbitohs in a tight encounter. I think the Dolphins will still be brave. But
can I ask you a question?
Yep.
Is it because the legend Campbell Graham's getting a run? Or maybe coming back to the bench?
Yeah, that's a big bonus for the Rabbitohs.
That is a massive bonus.
Yeah.
He's been such a stalwart in the past before his horrific injury. Was it the broken sternum?
Yep, and they
must have had one of them.
They were also boosted by Jai Arrow's bill of health this week. Right. Jai Arrow could push for a State of Origin spot this year.
For sure,
I think.
Doubt about that.
But, look, I'm tipping Rabbitohs in that game, and I'm saying by 10 to 12 points, the Rabbitohs. And that's a little bit out of order, but I think it's important news that we, God bless the Queenslanders and everyone up.
When is expected?
Saturday, they're saying.
Saturday expecting to hit. So they're already sandbagging and they're doing preparations?
Yep.
Okay, and who's the Premier up there at the moment?
I'd have no clue.
I'm
not a politician.
I'm glad you're not.
I don't follow politics. And
I don't blame you. They're all corrupt. I'm sorry. That's my point of view.
No point is always a win. Politics. You can have no point and still win if you're a politician. But
if you're a politician, there you go.
Lemon of the week. Let's get back to let's get away from the weather report now.
Okay. Are we going to start with the Broncos and Roosters? Because that's the first one.
Yeah, I think the Broncos are going to be cyclonic tonight.
Cyclonic.
Not psychotic. Cyclonic. It will be like a cyclone.
But it's at the local stadium.
Yeah, look, no home ground advantage. Look, there'll probably be about 500 Roosters supporters coming out to the stadium tonight. The remainders will be the Broncos supporters escaping the weather up in Brisbane to come down and see their Broncos pile 20-plus points on against the Roosters tonight.
20-plus?
It's going to be a hiding.
Crikey's, okay. Well, there's a first. On paper, I would agree with you, but I had a good look. They've still got some really top players, these. including Tedesco.
Pensioner.
No comment.
Punted from State of Origin now.
Well, look.
He's had all his handouts at the later stage of his career. I'm a hard man, but let's face it.
Victor Radley's still a great player.
Yeah, he's probably close to their best player.
Yeah.
They are also, I think Brandon Smith's out as well, and they've got a couple, Sam.
What about their coach? Has he got a big job in front of him this year? Yes, they lost really badly to Newcastle on the trial, but trials are trials. They still got across the line twice, but Newcastle were impressive. But is this the time we're going to see the pressure on the coach or not?
Oh, I don't think there's any pressure on him. I think
you don't think so?
No, I think he's one of the best coaches
I do too.
in the NRL. I take great emphasis in listening to the press conferences.
Yes, I do too. I usually send them to you.
Yeah, and he's really relaxed, composed. He knows what he's doing. I don't think he's under any threat whatsoever. Actually, I think he'd make a good New South Wales coach, to be honest.
I do too.
State of Origin.
I do too.
They've given it to Daly in his hairpiece again.
Careful.
Imagine.
Be nice.
Imagine Laurie Daly's hairpiece on Peter Sterling. That's as bad as it's getting.
They did all those scenes during the footy show, but this is every point's a winner. So we're not going to get that far, but we will give lemons and crystal balls for the weekend.
Well, I think it's a lemon appointment anyway for the State of Origin, but we've got.
So we've got no chance whatsoever.
Absolutely no chance. Zero chance.
You don't think it'll be close, or you think they're going to pile on the points straight away?
20 points on. They will be
early.
Yeah.
Okay. Pumped up.
Statement time for the Broncos.
Okay. All right. And that's all to do with the new coach as well. You think?
Yep. Yeah. 100%. He'll have them fired.
Big asset.
And Benny Hunt as well. Benny Hunt. I'd love to see Benny Hunt back in the Broncos jersey.
Absolutely. Can I get your possible tips there for the small punters of $1 each? Who would be your two try scorers? I can give you the odds. I've got them here.
Well, look, my first tip would be
I've got the page for you.
I'm Selwyn Cobbo for the Broncos. I think he's lost 7 kilos in the off season, and Selwyn Cobbo's moved from the centres to the wing, and that's his best spot. And it'll either be
he's too short, though. Do you want me to give you the odds of the first-time try scorers?
Yep,
he's very, very short, mate. I think he's $1.80. You're going to have to couple that with something. Give me something around like you did last week. 3 or 4 to 1 for the punters there that like a bit of value. You can add the value one to Cobbo. So you think Cobbo is the first try scorer here?
Yes, I do. Yeah,
you do.
Yeah, I think he's first try scorer.
Okay.
Selwyn Cobbo.
So just looking at his odds here, Selwyn Cobbo is $1.80 as I predicted. Anyone else we can couple him with if you're going to stick with Broncos scoring a lot of tries?
Look,
you wouldn't put him with Hunt. Hunt's not a prolific try scorer, as was your Dylan Edwards. I was trying to tell you last week. Dylan Edwards will score tries against lesser sides, but against good sides, he's just there as the playmaker. Yeah. Yeah,
look, another fellow I respect, probably for the Roosters, anytime try scorer, I'd go Angus Crichton.
Okay, Angus Crichton. You heard Peter Connors last year in the Australian match when he went across the line and he dropped the ball. It cost Connors nearly $2,000, so he wasn't a happy boy with Angus Crichton.
Not at all.
You must place it with some form of security. But anyway, let's look at Angus Crichton. Let's have a close look. What about Xavier Willison? Now, Xavier Willison is 6 to 1. There's a value for you.
Yeah,
you're a big fan of Xavier. You're tipping him to be
he is. So it depends on
the stallion of the year,
how much possession the Broncos have, and if they're pounding their line. Look, Xavier's good close to the line, but I mean he's not like Payne Haas who could run that 20 metres to the line and it's got a bit of toe on him. He'll fall over the line. He takes a lot of tacklers to pull him down. So that's the point. I think Xavier Williams, if he can get his offloading and ball skills, his offloading skills to a T, he can attract 3 and 4 defenders at any particular time.
He's a giant anyway.
Massive.
and so young, Dean Mariner, one of your favourites, is 275. There's a little bit more value, but they've still backed him.
Yeah, he's close to the quickest player, on the field.
Adam Reynolds is not your prolific try scorer, but he's 375. No. He's just setting up the players most of the times. He might get a loose ball. Jeffy Arthur is very short off the wing at $1.80.
Yep.
And Ben Hunt, as expected, not your prolific try scorer at 350. I'm going to chuck in one for you for Victor Radley to add on the east side. You said Crichton.
Yep.
I'll go Victor Radley going into your Selwyn Coppo. There's at least that way. There's a bit more value. Anything else to say before you say you're tipping at least 24 plus, maybe?
Oh, 20 plus.
20 plus. Okay, so mark that down, folks, because this guy's a very good tipster, let me tell you. And I think he's a big Broncos fan. Next time we expect him to see where, like the Knights, right? The Knights, they're here. They're here everywhere around the house, okay? We expect to see him in his Broncos outfit, or at least a big horse's head here.
I will be. I'll wear my...
Especially if they get beaten, he's got to wear a horse's head T-shirt. Not the one from Godfather Part 1.
You've got your knight chess piece. I'll bring a rook. I'll paste a rook to me forehead.
Okay. All right. So I think, I studied it really hard last night. I think it's not going to be at 20 plus. I think it's going to be 13 plus, but it's not going to be 20 plus. I think East have got the strike power to score a couple of tries. Dominic Young, for the first time, is not odds on the wing for East. Now, he's a prolific try scorer. He's about $2.10. There's a bit of value there for you as well, with the Victor Radley around about 7-2. Game 2, Scotty.
What have we got in game 2, which is Friday's games?
Friday's games, yeah. And it's West Tigers versus Newcastle. Tigers coming up at 2:30, which is pretty skinny. And Knights, who you've tipped to win,
$1.60 or something?
Yeah, about $1.62.
I'm definitely on the trial form. Newcastle's got a good, fit, young side. They're well prepared.
A lot of State of Origin players too.
Yeah, and of course you love Bradman best. So look, I think Newcastle odds on, and I think the odds depict that. I don't think the recruitment and the eyes on Luai and what the Tigers have done in a short period of time with those recruits. It'll take a while for those recruits to blend.
I agree.
It's too early in the season for them to pull a win out. Even though I think they beat Parramatta in a trial game. But again...
But this is against the side that's been making the 8th for the last 2 or 3 years.
Yeah, but look, I'm definitely thinking this could easily be 13 plus Knights.
All right, and I won't deny you of that selection. So, any time try scorer for you for the people with a bit of value?
Oh, look, I'll support.
I can give you the odds here.
I'll support your cause with Bradman best, and
he's 3-1.
And I'm looking at.
He's a prolific try scorer,
and I am looking at Dewey for the Tigers.
Dewey for the Tigers?
Yeah, and
let me just check his price, because I think you'll get a little bit more value for Deuce. We'll go to the front here. Fatape is about 3-1. He's going to have. Who's he going to be facing?
Well, Adam Dewey would be $3.
325. So there's a bit of value there. So you'd be best at 3-1 into Adam Dewey at 3. Say nearly 7-2. That's pretty good odds, Scotty.
And then into the Knights 13 plus.
And into the Knights 13 plus. Okay. How do you think Luai will go steering Galvin around the park? And
Galvin's quality youth. It'll take a long time. It'll take till mid-season before they really get a handle on where things are at. Luai's going to have his work cut out, mate. He's probably going to walk away from the first 3 or 4 rounds and go, okay, this ain't as easy as I thought it would be once I was signing that contract. I'm taking the money. Now the reality sets, and this is the work I've got to do. And he'll be grounded after 4 rounds thinking, wow, look how much I've got to do by myself.
What about, exactly. What about Terrell May? He was a big buy for the Tigers.
Yeah, he's tidy. Tidy player.
And anyone else we can mention there on the You don't know much about Seafarth?
No.
No, not much about him. Lachlan Galvin is not your prolific try scorer. He hasn't scored it in
But
the
an
last
extremely talented player.
Very, very talented player. Now, I must mention, and I don't usually like to mention other people, but the rugby league expert, he is a rugby league expert and a brain working with the Bulldogs team at the moment. Gus Gould has tipped, this is the latest news I heard from one of the podcasts, he's tipped West Tigers as a definite top 8. Do you think he's being ridiculous or not?
Did he put a second mortgage on his home? Oh, that's insane.
Are you giving Gus the lemon or not?
Oh, he can have a bag full of them. That's.
I was amazed, and he kept on saying it as the podcast. And he goes, "West Tigers definite chance for the 8."
Good luck to him.
You give him. What would you give West Tigers to make the 8? 33s if you were the bookmaker?
No, I'm a flat 50 to 1 to start. 50 to 1 to make the 8.
Yeah, it takes a while. Do you think Parramatta will suffer the same consequence of having that brand new coach? Yeah, he's had the experience underneath Bellamy and what have you.
Yeah, look, he's a really good coach, Jason Rolls. I mean, he's had Bellamy and stuff. Look, he's put some structures in place.
Mm-hmm.
I heard comments the other day. They lost something like, what was it? Let's say they lost 2,000 games worth of experience in players lost.
Yes.
In NRL experience, but their recruitment's incorporated another 2,000. So they've sort of lost but gained and balanced out as to where they were last year. So, look, I think they're going to be on the cusp of the 8, but they're going to have their moments. But I don't think they can string enough consistency together over the season when the big guns take that extra gear to really have an impact on the competition.
And we saw Penrith put that extra gear in when they were looking like getting beaten against Cronulla. And that's what the top sides do.
Mm-hmm.
Looking at that game on the weekend, just going quickly back, do you think they could do 5? If I put a gun to your head now, a literal gun,
no,
on that performance, a pretty good performance. They strangled sides. They did it to Melbourne, and they did it to Cronulla.
I'm hoping not.
I think Cronulla can finish high this year. Can I say that on that performance?
They're capable.
They got the attack right across the park, but Nico has to get himself involved more. Don't you think?
Yeah, look, this is his make or break season.
He's hot and cold through the game.
Yep.
He does some magic things, and then he just when it's all too much. Okay, getting onto my anytime try scorer, rather than have Dewey, I'm going to still give you value at 220. It's a little bit less than Scotty's. Gerald Skelton. He's a very, very strong player that came over from the Bulldogs. So I'm having him into Bradman Best. Getting on to the next game, Scotty. So I'm thinking with you as well. I think it'll be tight early, but I think Newcastle have got try scorers all over the park there.
Yep.
Looking at the next game, Scotty, it's the same day, but it's the 8 o'clock game. It's the South, as you said, South versus Dolphins.
Yep.
Any time try score. What's your general summation now that the Dolphins have lost those 6 players of what the score will be? You think it's going to give South more of a chance to score now?
Well, I know he's probably going to. Well, yes. Look, I think it'll be a tit for tat game.
Right.
I think there could be 40 points in the game.
Okay.
Something like.
So there's your line there.
A 22-18
plus 40.
Yeah, 22-18, something like that. It'll be. Look, I think it'll be a high-scoring affair, but I think they'll be tit for tat.
Yeah.
The scoreline could be very similar to the Sharks and Panthers from the Vegas game.
Yeah.
I can't go past the opportunist in the hammer. It's always hammer time for me with the Dolphins.
Okay, so
he'd be paying what?
Unfortunately, he's $1.90 because he's a prolific try scorer.
I was going to say $2.
Yeah, $1.90. Are you going to stick? You don't always have to go. We don't know with any punter. You don't always have to go the same side or opposing sides to get your double up. We're going to go the same side, or you're going to go South to score with the hammer.
Yeah, I'm looking at hammer and into Cody Walker.
Cody Walker?
Yeah.
There's your value, folks. Cody Walker. And if you bet them separately,
it'd be
with your $30,
it'd be above $3 or something, wouldn't he, Cody?
He's about $3.50.
Yeah,
yeah. Prolific try scorer or not?
No, but I think
that's why you're getting the value.
I think for the first game,
he's got a good chance.
I think they'll tighten it up. I reckon he should be running with the ball more often than not, and I reckon he'll have a crack.
Question here for me, is Jai grade 2 small for a fullback? He's the smallest fullback I've seen for a long, long time. He's got the speed and the ability.
Well, the Hammer plays fullback, and I don't think he's a big fullback. I mean, he's no Selwyn Cobbo or...
No, but he's still got a bit of height. That's what I'm saying.
Look, it's not an issue in attack, but certainly always an issue in that second line of defence, you know. And that's that defence close to the line when you've got blokes like, you know, Payne Haas and Best as a centre running at you, like they'll just walk over you.
So, with those legs, at that speed,
it's a tough job. And I mean, they hide the halfbacks, don't they?
Yes, so they have to now.
But when
Cherry Evans
when you're close to the line and you've got those kicks. Those little kicks coming through, or if someone's double pumping and hitting off the edges and you're helping that first line hold the ball up.
Well, now that you actually mentioned that, I did watch that game again last night and I really enjoyed it. Clockstag stood there and waited for the ball. Instead of leaping up for it, he thought it was better to stand there, and it just toppled out of his hands. And, of course, they scored.
Well, they seem to be more comfortable to do that because they know that if they do jump up, the defence is actually running, waiting for them to catch and land and then tackle them. So...
Was that the right thing to do for Clockstad? He's still got a lot to learn for mine.
Yeah, it's trial and error.
Yeah.
He's inexperienced, but look, he's a quality player.
He is a quality player. But that stat was... it looked like it was going to happen, and it did happen.
Mm-hmm.
You've got to be really careful staying on the ground and just waiting for it like that. Okay, so you've got your try scorers there. Let's go to the next game. So that'll be the Saturday night match. Let me just get this up. I've just lost it.
And that game there, I said we got South Sydney winning by between 8 and 12 points.
Yeah,
South to win 8 to 12.
It could be tighter than what you think. It's not going to be a whitewash, you would think, or not?
No, I don't think it'll be a runaway game. It's tit for tat.
Okay, fair enough. Now, we head to Saturday night or afternoon. Bulldogs, this is a classic at Jubilee, similar to last year, and Bulldogs run away with it in the end from an intercept from Matty Burton. This is a difference in George's side. As I said to you before, Valentine Holmes is worth at least 12 points. He doesn't miss goals, that guy.
No, if there's an ambush happening this weekend, the Dragons will ambush the Bulldogs down at Cogger Jubilee Oval.
Now, the prices are $2.25 for St George and $1.85 for Bulldogs, so people are onto it.
Well, I think people are just looking at last year's form in the Dogs and thinking they're going to do the same, but it's a whole new...
No outstanding buys, though, Scotty, for the Dogs.
No,
whereas St George have got a masterful stroke in Valentine Holmes.
Valentine Holmes, Damien Cook, Gutho.
Gutho's the big buy, isn't it? He truly is.
That's going to sharpen their defence. I don't think the Bulldogs got into the position they did last year based purely on their defence. I didn't think they had enough points in
it. They were around the first or second, and then they dropped about the third before they got knocked out.
I still think they lack points. They relied too much on Angus Crichton. The defensive...
what about the best centre in the game, though?
Well, when you got one of the best fullbacks defensively in the game...
Because you said Angus Crichton, it's Steve.
Sorry, Steve Crichton.
Yeah.
But when you've got Gutho at the back communicating and tidying up St George's defence before you even get to Gutho, that's going to tighten up and restrict Canterbury's attacking capacity. So for me, I think the Dragons...
As much as you like Connor Tracy, the experience... You can't beat experience at the back there.
No.
With Gutho.
So, look,
What are you thinking?
I'm Dragons to win between 10 and 12 points. I think the Dragons will win. I reckon they're probably a try and a half, 2 tries better than the Dogs.
And add a few more points for Holmesy.
Well, if there's a lot of penalties in the game and the ref blows his whistles, we know that Valentine Holmes is probably going to kick 5 goals in the game. So
far, in the 2 matches we've seen, thank God, they said they're going to really cut down on the play the ball. we didn't see that ruin any of the games so far.
No, they have. This will be a shun the pun, a dogfight.
This one?
This one will be a dogfight.
Yeah. I don't think it's going to be easy either way. It's really the old rivalry.
Well, I'm looking out the window and it's a little bit overcast and it's been rain.
That could even things up.
At Cogra, it wouldn't surprise me to see an 18-10 scoreline in favour of the Dragons.
All right. Let's get to the anytime try scorers because you're very good at that. As much as I am pretty good as well. I did have the big fella who was Fanua Blake.
Yep.
But I had him into who's not a prolific try scorer, Martin, but only because of his legendary ability.
Mm-hmm.
And all I needed was to put him into Raymond. The two Cronulla players, Fanua Blake into Raymond, and there's a really good value there. Let's get up to the try scores for this game. Last time they met, as Scotty said, it was 28-10. Let's have a look here. Go back a second through the game, and let's get down to anytime try scorers. Scotty, you got anything planned for the weekend, brother, apart from watching all the games?
No, I'm going to head off to rural Young and see my partner. So I've got a 4-hour drive this weekend. Go down.
I haven't met her. I'd like to meet her one time. She seems to be a lovely lady.
Yeah, she is very much so.
Congratulations on that.
Thank you. I'm thinking...
You're going to watch the games, aren't you?
I am. Look, for St George, I think anytime try scorer, I'm looking at either Valentine Holmes or Gutho. I think they're one of those two guys.
Can I give you the odds? 3-1 Valentine Holmes and Gutho 275. Both very good value.
Mm-hmm. The other fellow,
what about the opposing side? Would you consider a try from them? Surely. You can stay with your two St George players. I usually go opposing sides if it's going to be a tight one as well.
No, I'm not going to tip on the attack on the Doggies. I think they're going to.
Okay.
I think they've only got 2 tries in them, and
Steve Crichton is 275.
Mm-hmm.
Fairly good value. Matt Burton, not a prolific try scorer. 375. Montoya, even money on the wing there. Hasn't come into his own yet. Connor Tracy, 325. There's value there if you want it, but I'm going with Scotty. I think you stay with Valentine Holmes, but I will link him with Steve Crichton because you're still getting reasonable price there at 275.
And look, if the Dragons have got 3 or 4 tries in them, always you get tip Tyrell Sloan in there as well. I think he's probably going to be short. He'd probably be $2.50 or something, but he's the sort of guy that you can rely on scoring a try for the Dragons. When teams are tired, he'll outrun most guys.
Yeah, absolutely.
He's quick.
Oh, he's quick.
He's dumb, but he's quick. That's why they got Gutho there, see?
All right, let's not mess around because you've got to go to work in a second, even though you're at work at the moment as well. At work doing your beautiful tips. The next game is Manly versus North Queensland Cowboys. How do you see this going, Scotty? The Cowboys have come up at $2.80 and Manly at $1.44.
That's based on a very fit and healthy Manly playing at home. I'm probably going to go the home ground advantage because North Queensland, I don't know if any of the North Queenslanders are not coming down to Sydney.
That's a good question.
I reckon this is the hardest tip of the round. I think my head says Manly. My heart says...
What about your gut? Your gut. That gut instinct.
My gut's... It's on the verge of spewing. It's just so indecisive. Do I want to or do I not want to? Cowboys, I think...
Have they lost too many players, Scotty?
Well, there's one player in that side that I think is an absolute gun, and I'd love to have him at the Broncos, but we've got some good halves now, and that's Thomas Dearden.
Thomas Dearden.
His
Wasn't he originally with the Broncos?
Yeah, he was. I let him go. But look, on the verge of what he did in State of Origin last year.
It was phenomenal.
It was an absolutely phenomenal year for Thomas Dearden.
Yeah.
I think the Cowboys were there. I think the Cowboys
were there because of him.
They should be in the top 8.
They should be.
Pre-season.
Yeah.
Game playing. You should tip them in the top 8. But Again, too much inconsistency there. They seem to fall away by the.
They've lost a freaking good winger as well to Super League. Did he go to Super League or did he retire?
Who was that?
The guy with the beard. He always scored nearly a prolific try scorer.
Oh,
the winger. Anyway, I've forgotten his name.
Tip of the tongue.
My apologies, but anyway. But
this is why we need the Big League magazine. You know, the Big League is back out this year.
Bring it back, please. I heard they'll bring it in Vegas. We do need it. We do need it.
Best publication.
You used to be able to do your own stats as well. Remember the little stat box?
Yeah, scrums and penalties. You used to be able to slot them down and so forth. Right. You used to get down. You'd go to Cogger Jubilee Oval and you'd see the old, little fold-out chairs and the guy with his glasses, a school teacher, and he's like marking it just to make sure the referee honest. These are the penalties.
There wasn't all the computers in those days, was there? And stats and
a box for the scrums when you truly had to contest the scrums.
Yes.
You had to wear shoes.
There was a tunnel. If you fed it into the second row like they do these days, you'll get penalised for incorrect feed.
Yeah, and the head of the lock had to be in there and everyone was chit-chatting and sledging and abusing.
What about Gray? Do you remember Gray when he came over from England? He'd lay down in the scrum. So you see St George. Remember him? It was St George versus North. The first time I saw Gray. Was it John Gray?
John Gray from England, yeah.
Was he a side kicker?
Yeah.
For the first side
kicker? Corner kickers.
Round the corner kickers?
He was a pommy, yeah.
Yeah, but he'd lay down the scrum. Invariably, North would win against the head many a time because of his laying across the scrum, which was really illegal. But so now it's just a joke, the scrums. Yeah.
No cauliflower ears, no sledging. The scrums are really just to put I believe a little
rest,
a mixture of players all together,
and then set formation
for set plays.
Set plays.
Provide them that little bit of space, but no contest really, is it?
No. It's and it's a little bit of a rest for the players, and as you said, to get reset.
So onto these guys. I think really good value in the first game, having the ball in his hands, fresh will be Daly Cherry Evans. So I'm going
4-1.
Well, there you go.
Yeah, 4-1.
I'm Daly Cherry Evans. I'm into Jason Saab, who's going to be probably less than $2 and pretty short.
Yeah, and he is a prolific try scorer. $1.90.
Yeah, so I'd be going into DCE anytime. I'm looking at Saab. You could probably throw Turbo in.
Let's have a look at Turbo's. There's his brother, Jake. 5. He's always 5-1. He's not a prolific try scorer. Ben scores a lot of tries. He's 325. Where is the master on this here? Tom Trbojevic. Oh, you're never going to get better than $1.85.
No, so you're throwing Tom Trbojevic and Saab in. That gives you $4 and then DCE.
Okay.
There's three or four tries there.
What about North Queensland? You wouldn't be saying Dearden. Dearden's been scoring a lot lately.
Yeah, he has.
And he's always 7-2, 4-1.
He's close to a sure bet. So, look, I would be looking at maybe a...
Tom Dearden is 350, as I said. That is pretty good value. If I really put the pressure on you and said you've only got $30, what about if you split the bet 15 on your 2 try scorers, but then you chuck in Dearden with your top try scorer? You go Dearden Saab, or do you go Dearden, your other player, Dale Cherry Evans?
Oh, I'm going to.
There's the value.
I'm going to throw the spanner for value. I reckon that State of Origin player Jordan McLean. What's he paying?
Jordan McLean, 8-1.
Yeah, I'm going to throw him as my wild card.
Where did he originally come from, though?
Well, I don't know, but he's in the State of Origin side, I think.
Yeah, wow, 8-1. Okay.
Jordan McLean, write that one down.
Jordan McLean. So you're tipping him to be possible up in the Dally M's as well, if he's such a good player or not?
No,
I just don't think that he's got the team around him.
No.
Okay. All right, we're moving to the last match, and this is one of your favourite teams and one of my favourite teams, but I can't get them across the line in the grand final.
What was that word we used? Funt? Was it funt?
The Parramatta, the Atlas boys.
The Atlas boys promise the world, deliver an Atlas.
But this year you said they got one of the best coaches around in Jace. So
but coaches don't miss tackles, drop passes, make poor decisions on the field. Coaches give the tools And the
but they've had a
instructions.
massive facelift as well, bro.
Yeah, they have, but it's not going to happen in round one when Melbourne Storm have won 22 seasons first
All in
round.
Murgatroyd.
And I reckon
7-1, they are head to head. I think they've been listening to you, the bookmakers. 7-1.
I reckon that's short for Parramatta.
Oh my God!
What is Storm paying? $1.30 or $1.40 or something? $1.30?
Unbackable.
What are they paying?
Do you remember what Kingston Town was paying for?
Oh, I love Kingston.
Race after race.
Kingston Town.
$1.10. You'd be lucky, maybe for his first part of his career, you'd get $1.70, $1.80, $1.60. But by the end of when he was,
if you were a millionaire and you had a multi-millionaire and you had a lazy 50 grand to throw on at 7-1, so you could give the kids some lunch money, you'd probably bet Parramatta. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, you're not going to. If you put your million on Melbourne, you only get 10 cents per dollar. That's not good.
It's not a game I would want anyone to invest on. But look, I think that's 13. Look, I'm actually don't think. I don't think it'll be a thrashing. Look, but I think it'll be a tidy game.
All right.
I'll be surprised if the Storm come out and put 40 on them.
All right.
I mean, the odds would depict that, but I don't think the gap is that big, and I think that Parramatta with the first game will put up a very brave front. I'm going to give them some credit.
Well, you're basically giving Jason the credit, aren't you?
Yeah, absolutely.
Because you don't really like many of the players of Parramatta. But what about Dylan Brown? You're a Dylan Brown fan, aren't you?
No.
You don't like him?
No, he hasn't got his head screwed on. Doesn't know where he wants to be, that guy. He walk about.
Oh, I know that's a little bit upsetting for
every time I get upset, I want to walk away. Walk about.
Fair enough.
Look, I'm going.
What about try scorers?
I still think, let's say 13. I'm going 13 plus Melbourne because it's the safest bet.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So 13 plus try scorers.
There's still no value there. We need value from the anytime try scorer.
I've got to go Warbrick.
The odds I've got him right here in front of me.
He'd be less than $2, but he's a good.
Well, he's going to be long odds on, man. Warbrick. Hang on, let me just go back to Warbrick. Harry Grant's 310. He's always good value out of dummy half. Warbrick is well odds on at $1.65.
Yeah, I'd be going Warbrick into Xavier Coates.
Xavier Coates.
He'd be less than $2 as well. So there's two definite players that are giving you $4.
Did Coates play for Queensland, or I'm getting
for the Broncos in Queensland?
Yeah, he did play for Queensland. Yeah,
he's the high flyer that does the big diving leap tries in the corner.
Yeah,
great finisher.
Isn't there a bit of value there with Munster at 310? I know he's not a prolific try scorer.
Well, he'd want to be running with the ball more often than he did last year. He was really off the pace last year. I know he was injured and he just wasn't. To me, it just didn't seem like he was hitting and running with the ball. I've got to be more convinced with Munster's performance leading into State of Origin this year if he's really running the ball. But he's going to have to, for him to make the State of Origin team over what Thomas Dearden did last year.
Yeah.
I think if Thomas Dearden should be given the first State of Origin.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Irrespective.
I'm a massive fan. And
so Munster to me has got to prove himself. I think $3 is generous. I think if I was giving odds on for Munster scoring a try this weekend, I'd want to be giving him $5 because I just want to see him confidently attacking the line, fearlessly.
Yeah.
And he's a bit of a sit and a watch bloke at the moment. So,
but he did that in the grand final, a bit of a sit and a watch.
He did, and that's my last thought and last memory. And they let me down, and he cost me a little bit of a And I'll remember that pain until he convinces me otherwise. So, look, I'm Warbrick into Xavier Coates.
Okay,
and
that's no value. They're $1.85, $1.85.
Yep, and then Coates into Pappenhausen.
Coates into Pappenhausen. Still no value.
Yep.
And both long odds on.
Melbourne 13 plus.
Okay.
Right. This is a multi-bet.
This is definitely a multi-bet. So you got 4 Melbourne try scorers, all odds on.
Now remember, where is it? Melbourne or Parramatta? It's at Parramatta.
It is, yeah. Well, last time they met there was 32-14 to Melbourne. It's similar to what you were saying. It's not going to be a total whitewash.
No.
Okay, and
so let's have a look at the Parramatta side. You've got no Moses, so Moses is not playing.
Can I want to put my tip in here for a second for Melbourne.
Yeah.
I think the value, and he's been very good to me before. He always hangs around where the action is. At least Katoa.
Yep.
He's $2.90, so nearly 3 to 1. That's my boy. So let's have a look at the Parramatta side now. Will Penasini, a pretty prolific try scorer. Usually goes in once a match, but not totally prolific.
No,
So
but look,
he's 450.
Yeah, I was just going to say, is he 380 or something like that? But look, I think
Zach Lomax, another prolific try scorer.
Yeah, look, I'll tell you who I'm going to pick for Parramatta, and I'm only going to throw one player in, is Junior Paulo.
Junior Paulo, 8 to 1.
Another $8.
But are we looking at? Yeah, are we looking at what forward position does he play?
McLean.
It's prop, isn't it?
Yep, McLean and Paulo.
McLean and Paulo as your boulders.
Yep, they're my two.
Because the other four are odds on.
Yep, they were my two $8 bolters.
Okay. Well, I'm going Katoa 7 to 2.
Yep.
We do ask people to bet responsibly always here on Every Point's a Winner.
Doesn't sound too responsible.
But if you've got $4 or $5, excuse me, we did break square up last week thanks to Tiana Penatoni, another prolific try scorer, coming up at $2.10. And I have to tell you what happened to me, right? When we just missed the Jesse Raymond double with Tuivasa Sheck and Capewell, right? We just missed it because I took 1 point too many.
Yep.
And the Gooses went for the penalty instead of the try, right? They gave me a bonus point because we just missed. We got 3 of the legs out of 4. They gave me a bonus point. Now, you have to remember this. Never forget this. Bonus points are like fake money. Because I tell you what I did in the ladies' game, in the Gillaroos game. I had Isabella Kelly, right, with the bonus point. Now, she was $2.10, right? So I basically had $10 on Tiana Penatoni and 10 on Isabella, but I said, I'll use this bonus bet. Guess how much money I got for $2.10 for my $10?
How much?
I got my money back. The bonus bet. That's shorter than Kingston Town. So be careful with the bonus bets.
TAB always wins, mate.
Yeah, the TAB always wins. So they basically gave me 20 to 1 on. More than 20 to 1 on. So I basically got the bonus bet money into my account.
Yeah.
So instead of getting nearly $30 or whatever, $21, I got $6 back.
So it's putting 50 in the pokies.
Yeah.
To get 30 back, and then you go, geez, I'm good now, I've only lost 20.
Yeah.
And all it's done is give you your 30 back.
Yes.
To tease you, to say, here, put the 30 in and we'll drain you.
That's what it is. That's what the bonus bets are. Yeah, I couldn't believe it. I don't think I'll ever use a bonus bet again on someone that I definitely think is going to go in and score a try.
Now, before we go.
Yes. Did you get my final one, Katoa?
Katoa.
Yeah, and you can swing it either way here. Katoa into Zach Lomax, because you're going to get a bit of value there, or Dylan Brown. I know you're not a fan of him, but he is a reasonable try scorer. At least you're going to get 5 to 1. You can't tip your odds on like you have with the Melbourne boys.
Yeah, look, I think
there's no value there.
I think they're going to need their backline firing. I think Dylan Brown won't be running with the ball as much unless it's really needed. I think he'll be distributing the ball and trying to get it to Lomax as early as possible. So it'll be spread out.
So you're tipping more so my Lomax into at least Katoa.
They're going to try to be expansive. So I wouldn't be picking Dylan Brown.
Okay.
What have you got here?
We've got the crystal ball.
Crystal ball stuff.
What is your crystal ball tip for this weekend?
Crystal ball
Will it be an upset or what you see into the future?
My crystal ball moment is Broncos 30 points plus at the end of round 1 on points for and against. The Broncos will be leading the competition.
Have you got that, folks?
Broncos leading the competition on points for and against with a belting over the Roosters tonight. And my other one is that means the Roosters will be last and second last will be West Tigers.
Okay. This one's
hard on the Tigers.
This one's more of a prayer for me. I'm praying that one of my favourite players, the Knights, Braden at best, doesn't pull a hamstring this year, because he's got giant legs, and it wrecked Newcastle's chances last year. And one of the games he did it in was against the Broncos, when he pulled the hammy, and he never really came good. They just got him right for Origin, and look what he did. So, I mean, this is my prayer. Please, Bradman Best, just back off the speed just a little bit. You've still got the strength, mate. You've got the ability. You're a freak of a player. So that's my prayer on the crystal ball. So until next week, Scotty, all the best in punting. Gamble responsibly. Be nice to your mother. Very nice to your mother if she's still around.
Yeah.
I always have mine looking over my shoulder, my guardian angel. God bless. Thanks for tuning into Everyone's a Podcast. Everyone's a Podcast. Every Point's a Winner podcast for next week. There's some the full round.
Yeah, full round results, and we'll look at the ladder and obviously look at that as a form base for round 2.
Yeah.
But it's exciting to have the league on. Just say, I heard Volandis also say in Vegas that probably 4 games was too much over in Vegas.
By the end of the best game, the Penrith and Cronulla game,
look,
half a stadium.
The sacrifice, he said, I think the sacrifice will be the women's game. As a result, it was just 2 one-way.
Exactly.
It was a great idea to have the 2 English teams there. No. 4 games down to 3. You got to have 4 teams from the NRL.
Supporting the women, though, going forward, could you have the State of Origin? Because that was a cracker. The women's State of Origin going over there.
Yeah, that's a real good idea.
Yeah.
Right. The expense is an issue to take them over there, but maybe to have a opening.
At least you're going to get a game. You're going to get a good game.
An opening game and take the State of Origin teams over there for the opening game of the series would be good.
Yeah.
I think that would be really good. And then obviously, whoever gains the advantage, one in New South Wales, one in Queensland.
So the Super League was a little bit of a whitewash as well.
Yeah, but that was no way, because the amount of fans that they brought over from England.
Actually, you're right.
Volandis said
they drank the bar out. So
I wish I could teach the Australian supporters to sing like the Pommies, because they made a raucous noise in there. It was NRL fans that were in that stadium making the noise anyway. Whether it was New Zealanders, which was good, they had a good New Zealand mix, they had Australian mix, they had the Pommies, and really the 90-4 skyline in that Gillaroos game was just pathetic. It showed some. It was a game of touch football. Let's face it.
Yeah.
And Volandis, what about his illusions of grandeur? Now, because we're holding the Olympics in Brisbane, he wants touch football and rugby league to be an Olympic sport in Brisbane.
Well, I'll back him 100%.
So look, he's dragging the game. I think before and that's nice, but that's a one-off, because once they have an Olympic thing, then it goes to another country, and the NRL's not going to comply with every 4-year Olympics like the tennis or something like that. So, look, leave that alone. You want to promote the game at its highest level, State of Origin in Vegas.
Agreed. So do something different and make it 3 games. People will lose concentration.
And keep that UK, the Kiwi and the Australian fans all in that arena, and I think it's a great opportunity.
That's why I have you on here.
Well, why not?
You're
one last thing. Sorry,
you're a grand
too much of everyone's time. But if it's not State of Origin, why would you not take a pre-season NRL Sevens tournament over there for 3 days?
Why not?
Or
entertaining.
Well, you could do that, because what do we have out? We have that. The festive Brisbane competition with the full round up in Brisbane.
Yeah.
And that goes off like a bang. Why would you not have a 3-day World Sevens?
I think they can try it, mate. But I like my tip as well. Take the ladies' State of Origin over there.
Yep.
So it's not a whitewash. I just got 2 more crystal ball selections before we wrap it up.
We never finish. Finish, mate.
But I'm thinking one thing, Scotty. After watching, I think New Zealand Warriors are in for a tough year. I like the inclusion of Capewell, love it, and that they've got their master back. What's his name? Fisher.
Yep, Fisher
Harris. But I'm worried. There's signs there, and I tell you what, Canberra may go one step better this year and make the 8. I just think their attack was phenomenal, and you got Chris. Sebastian Chris. The speed. Their backline's phenomenal, mate. I think they'll put a lot of tries on this year. From what I saw, it is only the first round, but geez, they look good. Ricky seems to have a really good combination down there, and then finally it's starting to pay.
We're talking about speed. We've hit the 1 hour mark. 1 hour is enough of our rubbish.
Absolutely.
Right? Give some people some time. Go to work. Enjoy yourselves. And,
thank you, Scotty, again.
And I think with the way we talk, we're giving people more cauliflower ears than what the scrums are giving the prop forwards in the second row these days. Talking about scrums.
God bless you, mate. Have a lovely weekend. Yep. Enjoy your rugby league.